Hi! In this video, we will talk about signals, a universal messaging system. You will learn how to send and receive signals, and even how to send and receive signals with your custom data. Let's get started. Before we begin, I will show you what signals is. It's a universal messaging system that sends signals, these are packages, through virtual channels called streams. You can have as many streams as you want, and you can send as many signals as you may need. And to that end, if you want to read more about it, just go to our website, go to the features, and here you'll see the signals system and some information about it, how it works, how you're sending the signals, how performant it is. It uses an internal policy system, so it doesn't trigger your garbage collection. How you can debug it. You have some consoles. I'm going to show you how to use them. And also some API examples, some usages. Of course, if you want to read more, you just go to the documentation of the tutorials and you will learn a lot more. All right, let's continue this video. So, what did I say? Well, I said that this is an universal messaging system that you can send anything via these streams, and you also can connect to them. You do not need direct references, as everything is handled by the system outside the Unity scenes. All right, so the most basic thing is to be able to see the streams. So in order to do that, you have two consoles. You have the signals console and the streams console. So tools Doozy dashboard. And from here, we open our two consoles, signals and streams. In the signals console, you will always see what signals are sent in real time at runtime, while in the streams consoles, you'll see the streams that have been activated, the currently active streams, right? So let's start with a simple script, and I'm going to show you how to send a signal, right? I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to create a folder where we're going to put all our data. So sandbox, right? And here I'm going to show you a simple script, and I'm going to say custom signal sender, right? All right, can you see that? Is it zoomed in enough? Yeah, you should be able to see it. All right, so this custom signal sender, I would like it to send a simple signal on a particular stream. So I'm going to say public string stream category, because I need to have a stream category and a stream name for my signals to be sent through. And of course, I'm going to say public void send signal, and I'm going to say signal dot send stream category stream name. And that's pretty much it. That's the most simple signal that you can send. I'm going to say on enable send signal, right? Let's clear this up. Let's say namespace sandbox. All right. And there you go. Now you have your first method of sending a signal, right? Let's come back to Unity. And here I'm just going to create a game object, and on enable it sends our signal, right? So create empty signal sender, right? Let's add custom signal sender here. So now I need to say what string category is stream name. This can be whatever you want. I'm going to say test 1, right? So I will be sending a signal on a signal stream called test1. Yeah. So let's come back here. Let's not enable this. So now we are at runtime, and when I enable this game object, a stream will be created with the category test and the name 1, and immediately a signal will be sent. So there you go, this is the signal, and this is the stream. I can send as many as I want via enable, or I can even use a button. I'm gonna do this at runtime. So I'm gonna create a simple button, and I'm gonna say whenever I click that button, a signal should be sent, right? And let's see my simple button. Let's say behaviors on pointer click. Let's add a behavior. Okay, and I'll say signal sender, custom signal sender, send signal. All right. So now, whenever I'm going to click this button, there you go. This is the signal that has been sent. Of course, there's also the button signals that are sent through the system. So let's just filter them. So I'll say category test. And here again, category test. So now I'm only showing what I want to see. So I want to see the stream for the test and of course the signals that are sent here. All right. So that's pretty much it for this example, this basic example. Let's put these here. Actually, I don't even need them right now. I'm going to open them as we need. Another way of sending a signal is just by using the default components. So I'm going to search for signals, and here you have a signal sender. Again, this is a bit more complex and more easier to use. And here I can select on which stream I would like to send my signal, or I can just add one to the database. So I'll do just now. I'll say shop by. I'd like to have with capitalized letters. So by, let's save this, sell, and refresh. Right. So now I have defined in my database 3 possible streams. Of course, you can also use different names, but this is a simpler way to use the drop-down list. Right. So right now, this signal sender sends a signal on the stream, on the signal stream called shop by. Right. Let's see our 2 consoles. All right. Let's put them like so. Actually, yeah, one near the other. Let's enter play mode, and I want to say on enable, just send a signal. So as you can see, on this stream, a signal was sent. Of course, this signal doesn't have a value payload. So let's say I have an integer for my items. So let's say 42. And now I've just sent another signal with a value payload. Let's say a Boolean, true. I'm triggering it by disabling and re-enabling the game object because it's set to send a signal on enable. Of course, again, I can always create a button. Let's create a simple button. And this button can be set to behaviors, pointer click at behavior. And let's say when it's clicked, I want this signal sender to send the signal, right? So now I can send it like so. Of course, we're also sending other signals. So again, I'm gonna filter it by stream category shop, and now only this will be visible. Again, I can also do this stream category shop, and yeah, I have isolated the signal that I'm sending. All right, so you've just seen how I can send very simple signals, either without a component or from code. And now I'm going to show you different ways of sending a signal from code. All right. So let's come back here. I'm going to add here shop and buy, just so we have the same stream. And another way of sending a signal, this is the most simple way, right? So this doesn't have a value. If I wanted this to have a value, I would say, let's say value 123, right? So now this will send a signal on this stream with value 123, and let's check it out. It's a bit less customizable. So dashboard. Let's come here and let's see the signals. Actually, I'm gonna put this here, right? Let's enter play mode, and there you go. 123 has been sent, right? Not this one. Let's come back here. So another way of sending a signal is by saying signal stream dot get string category stream name send signal. This is another way of doing it, right? Let's come back to our Unity project and let's test it out. Of course, it will work. So let's enter play mode, and there you go. The signal was sent with the new code. Another way of doing it is via the signal service. Signal service dot send signal on stream category and stream name, and this is your basic signal without a value payload, right? So let's come back here, and again enter play mode, and the signal is sent, and it works. All right, if I want to send a value, let's say hello world, let's save. So now I will be sending, oh, actually, I think I need to say string here. String. Just so it knows that I'm sending with a value payload of string, right? So send signal, hello world. Now I can come back here, and you will notice that the signal that will be sent also has a string value payload with the value hello world, and it will appear right here, value type string, value hello world, and that's pretty much it. All right. Now, this isn't the most efficient way of sending a signal, and I recommend saving your signal stream, because whenever you're using the stream name, stream category and stream name, you are doing a search through all the streams. So to that end, you can do the following. Private signal stream, and let's make it a property with a getter and a setter. And on enable, I will say stream equals, if stream is not null, I'm going to write it in a shorter format in a second, null, then we use stream, otherwise we get it. So signal stream get. So this is where we do it, and in the send signal we use stream dot send signal. And if I want to add a value payload, I will say 123 for, and now this is an int value payload, or a new vector vector 2, for example, new vector 2 1 2, right? So this will also work. Let me come back here in Unity and show you that it works. So now it will send a signal with a vector 2 with the value on x1 and y2. Check it out. There you go. So it's a vector 2. Like I said, you can send whatever you want through this system. Now, another way of writing this is like this, or even shorter, like this, right? So if a stream is null, try to get the stream. Of course, if a stream does not exist, one will be automatically created, so this will never be null. Another way of sending a signal is by using, so if you remember, shop, can I do it from here? No, another way of sending a signal is by using the predefined shop. Do I have one created in the database? Let me check. So the database creates some enums for your stream IDs for string category and stream name. And now in our database, we have shop, buy, refresh, and sell. And here you have regenerate enums. I'm going to click it. And it generates a enum that can be used with send signal. And it's quite fast, actually. So let me show you how this works. So signal, send, and here I say shop. And if you remember, we defined our string category shop, and here we have all the options. So buy, and now I'm sending a signal like that. So basically, instead of using these two, I can use this one. And of course, I can also go like this. So let's remove this. Let's remove this. And let's say here stream ID shop. And this will be shop stream ID, shop stream name. All right. And let's use that. Let's set default to buy. And now you will see that we have the ability to use a drop-down list made of enums, of dynamic enums through this. So let's come back here. I'm just showing you various options that you have available. So now I can say buy, refresh, sell, just like we have here. So let's enter play mode, and it sends on the buy stream. Let's send on the refresh, not here. Come on. Let's say here refresh, and now it's sent on the refresh stream. So as you can see, this also works like that. And of course, because we sent on 3 different streams, now you will see that in our streams console, we have 3 different streams. So dashboard. Let's go to our streams console. There you go. So we have shop, buy, refresh, and sell. So I'm sending on the sell. Let's send on the buy. Let's send on the refresh. All right. What if you want to send your own custom data? How would you do that? That is very easy. Your data can be either a class or struct. It really doesn't matter, or even a reference to something, or yeah, whatever. You can send whatever you want. So let's say I want to send a reference to this. Well, I can just say this, and I just sent a reference to this class, and you will see how this works. Very, very easy. You can send anything. Let it compile and enter play mode. And you will see here that it sent a value, and it's of a type custom signal sender. That's it. So yeah, pretty easy. Let's create a custom data class, and let's send a signal with that as the payload, right? So in your projects, you will always have some custom things that you want to send all over the place. So I'm going to say, because I use the shop analogy, I'm going to say a product ID, and a product price, right? So I'm going to create it here. No, I'm going to create a different file, so it's easier to use. So I'm going to say class or struct. Class. Let's go for class. I'm going to say my data. That's kind of what. Actually, I'm going to say shop item, shop item. Yeah. So that will be my. This will be my data class. First of all, it has to be serializable. And we have a public string, and this will be a name, item name. All right. Then we need an item price, and let's say an item ID. Let's put it like that. So I have a string and 2 ints. Let's also make a constructor. By the way, Copilot is writing this. It wasn't me, but it's very good, right? So now I have, this is my data class that I would like to pass along when I'm sending a signal. So I'm going to say here, public shop item. And here I'm going to say item. And let's also create a new shop item with some with a bogus name. And I'm going to say test item. Price will be 100 and ID will be 1, right? Just so we have something to send, and then we will send this item. That's it. It's very easy. I'm going to use the stream because that is a bit more optimized. Do I want to use that? No. Let's use the let's use the stream. So I'm going to say public string signal category, and here I'm going to say shop and buy. And buy. All right. Now I'm going to get my stream signal stream get and signal category. Actually, this would be stream category. Sorry, I really don't want to confuse you. And stream name. All right. And then I'm going to say stream send signal, and in the signal I'm gonna add this item. So that's pretty much it. And now I'm sending my own data structure through a signal. All right, let's come back here and let's check it out. And there you go. Now, if you want to see the value usually is shown here is to string. So if you override to string, you will always see the information here. So let's also do that in our data class. So I'm going to say, do you know what I want? Perfect. So I want item name, item price, item ID. And I would like item ID, item name, and item price. Something like that. So this format, right? So now you will see that in our console, we will see this information for this item. So usually you should do that if you want to have some meaningful information in your console. So let's enter play mode. And there you go. ID 1, test item, and 100, that's the price. Of course, we can also change and say 100 coins, item price 10,000, item ID 785, for example. So now if I send it, there you go, 785, 100 coins, 1,000, that is the price. So you can go anyway, either way, all right? So you've seen how we can send a signal. Now, this doesn't look that well because we do not have our drop downs here. So in order to do that, we need a custom editor because it's all in UI elements. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to continue and show you how to receive a signal, right? So one way of receiving a signal, so signal sender, create empty, signal listener. So we have several listeners available. We can listen for any signal and we just select the buy option, and then we just trigger something to happen. So for example, let's say I want to trigger a debug log. I can do that with this signal. So let's see how we can do that. So let's create a simple class, debug log, debug, debugger, right? And here, this will be a mono behavior. All right. And I'm going to say public log string message. Perfect. This is what I want to see. So I'm going to use that just to show you in the console that everything is sent accordingly. Come on. Perfect. So add component, debugger, and here I'm going to say whenever this is, so let's say debugger, send, log, and say signal received, right? So I just received my my signal. All right, so let's see it right here. Do I have everything? Yeah, this, right. Let's enter play mode. And there you go, signal received whenever we send a signal. And you can also see it here that is being sent, right? So this is one way of doing it with a signal listener. But what if I want to have my own custom listener, right? So let's create our custom components. So I'll say shop item signal listener, right? So let's create a script, shop item signal listener. You can always, there are also other specialized listeners. For example, if you're sending an integer value, you can use an integer int signal listener, right? So instead of this, you can say int signal listener, and now you can pass an integer value. So let's test it out. So for example, in our custom, in our debugger, let's say public void log, let's say int, and now we were receiving an integer value, right? And in our custom signal sender, let's just send stream, send signal, and let's send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, right? So this will be my int. So right now I'm no longer sending a shop item, I'm sending an integer of 123,245. So let's also use our debugger. Let's move it here. So now I'm interested in an int value, and I'm going to use the dynamic int. So let's enter play mode, and you will see the value has been sent via this listener, right? All right, let's create something like that, like this one, for example. But I would like it to receive my own data, right? So we need to filter it. So let's remove the component, right? And let's create it. So shop item signal listener. Now you can create your own signal listener, or you can use the signal listener class that already exists. And I'm going to show you that one because it's the least code, the least amount of code that you need to write. So let's take the integer signal listener. And as you can see, this class, all it does is this. It has a UnityEvent that passes your data, and it validates the data and then triggers the event. And that's it. That's the entire class. So I'm going to create a UnityEvent for my shop item. I'm going to put it right here, actually. So serializable, public class, and I'll say shop item event of type UnityEvent that has a shop item as its parameter. And that's it. Now I have my event that I would like to use right here, right? So I say public on shop item event. Actually, this will be shop item event on shop item event equals new shop item event. And now I would like to extend from the signal listener, and override the process event. Process signal, actually. All right. So how do you do this? Well, it's very simple. You make sure that the signal is not null. You check the value and you trigger the event. And that's it. That's everything you have to do. So I make sure the signal is not null. I check that the value is shop item. And then I just cast my object and send it through the event. And that's pretty much it for our shop item signal listener. What's this? Namespace. Oh, we do not have a namespace. Namespace sandbox, please. Let's just add a namespace so this is correct. All right. Now let's go into our Unity project, and you will notice because we extended the signal listener that we will already have a custom editor available. We will just be missing this Unity event, and we will create our own custom editor in a few seconds, right? So let's come back here and let's go to our signal listener. Let's add our shop item signal listener, and there you go. It already exists, and you are missing the Unity event with a shop item parameter. So now we need to create a custom editor. So it looks like int. So it looks like this, right? Basically, I do not need these two events. I just want my specialized event here. And you will see that, again, we're going to extend our editor and just write 2 or 3 lines of code and we're done. It's very easy to use, actually. All right. So I want this to say shop item, signal listener, and a Unity event with a shop item parameter. So I can pass it along, right? All right. So let's come back here. Now, we also need to have a folder called editor if you're doing editor code. So create folder editor. Editor code is not that complicated, especially because you have editor UI to help you out. So I'm going to create shop item signal listener editor, right? So this will be my custom editor. Again, you can get your code from Integer Signal Listener Editor. So we will do just that. I'm also showing you from where you can get your information, so it's easier when you're on your own, right? So what do I want? Well, I want to say that this is a custom editor, first of all. Actually, I need a namespace. Namespace sandbox editor. Just so we separate them. I do not need this. This is a Unity editor, and this is a custom editor type of shop item signal listener. The true part here is that any derived classes will use this editor as the default editor, as a fallback. All right, so what do we have here? Well, we have a fluid field that contains our property that shows the event, all right? So we need a private serialized property, and what's the name of the property? Well, it's on shop item event, right? Let's set a get and a set. And we also need the fluid field, but I'm not going to add it here because I don't need to. And let's say override, not equals, override, find properties. Actually, I think I needed to signal listener editor. Yeah. Find properties. All right. And property, I need to find my property for the event. And now, no, this is bad. This is GUI, I'm GUI. And now I need to initialize the editor and show it. So I'm going to do that. I do not need these. And yeah, let's also add a fluid field. So private fluid field on shop item fluid field, right? Let's put it here. Let's copy this. If a shop item parameter, shop item, right? And that's your editor. So what I did was to have a fluid field. This is the thing that encapsulates the editor, and the serialized property that I'm getting here. I'm setting the, let's not add manual. Let's just put it like that. I'm just setting the component name and type text. I'm getting the fluid field and injecting my UnityEvent field. And then I'm composing everything from top to bottom. So header, ID field, the one where you select your category and your name, and on shop item fluid field. And you're done. Now you have your custom editor, and it also looks well, it works well, and you can also access the database. So we have our listener here. Check it out. It looks almost the same, but you're sending a UnityEvent with a shop item parameter, right? Let's go to our debugger and accept this type of item. This can be whatever you want, process, whatever. So public void process shop item, for example, right? And let's do that. This can be whatever you want it to be. All right, let's come back here. And in the final part, I'm going to show you how to use a receiver without using any components, right? So let's come back here and say debugger, shop item, debugger, and let's use the dynamic dynamic parameter process shop item. And let's enter play mode, and you will see in our debugger that we are listening for this. Am I right? Shop by, are you processing this? So it was sent. Signal sender. And I'm not seeing anything. 1 second. So process shop item. Yeah, this should work. Let's come back here. So shop item, I'm listening for the correct part, and I'm processing this. And in the process, what I'm doing, debugger, debug log item to string. All right, let's put it like that. All right. Am I sending this on enable? I know I messed with it. Custom signal sender. On enable, send signal. Oh yeah, I'm not sending the item. So because it's not the correct type, even though I am sending a signal, it's not of a shop item type. So that's why it didn't appear. So I'm just gonna put this. And now I'm sending the correct signal, right? So it should have worked if I would have sent the correct payload, but the payload was an integer and it wasn't correct. So let's enter, and now you will see that this signal has been received. All right. Let's also create a custom signal sender. So I'm going to say shop item signal sender. Why am I creating a custom one? Well, for example, if you're creating for your team and they do not know how to use the signals, you may want to give them components to send and to receive in order to communicate without writing code, right? So we've created our shop item signal listener. So let's create a shop item signal sender. It's just as easy. So let's create shop item signal sender, right? and let's go inside of it. Of course, namespace, always have a namespace. Sandbox. This would be your project's namespace. Do not work in the global namespace. Please don't do it. All right. And what do I need? Well, I need an ID because here I used a string and a stream category and stream name, and I use strings that are prone to user error. So I advise you to use our stream ID, and we're also going to create a custom editor for this. All right, so public stream ID, and this will be target stream ID, for example. All right, and now we need our payload. In this case, public shop item, and this will be my item. All right, and let's say on enable. Let's also get our reference to our stream, so we're as efficient as possible. So private signal stream. Let's make it a property. Get and set. And our stream will be signal stream get target stream ID category and target stream ID name. All right, and let's say send signal. Stream send signal, right? And let's also send it on enable, just so we usually don't need this because you might trigger this method from somewhere else, but I'm doing it on enable just so I can show you how this works. Actually, I'm going to add an I'm going to leave it like that. Perfect. So this is our basic editor. Now, if Unity would use UI elements by default to create editors, this would appear instantly, but it's not actually UIToolkit, I think it's called right now, but it's doing GUI, so it will not appear. Let me show you. So in the signal sender part of this particular example, let's remove this. So I'll say shop item signal sender. As you can see, you have the item information, but you do not see the stream ID. All right, so we need to fix that by creating a custom UI elements editor. And I'm also going to initialize this new shop item, and let's say my item that is 45. And the ID is 1234, right? So something like that. Let's initialize it. All right. So how do I create a custom editor for this? Well, it's very easy. Again, I'm going to use editor UI stuff because it's very fast and they also look good. So I need under the editor folder right here, I need to create a class with shop item signal sender editor. I'm going to do that in Unity so you know where it is. Otherwise, I would have done it here. So I'm going to say here, create shop item signal sender editor. Right? Now, because we're not extending from another code for like we did in the listener part, I'm going to create an editor from scratch. This is just a few lines of code, a few extra lines of code, and I'm going to explain how everything works. First, the namespace sandbox editor. All right. Let's delete these. Let's say here Unity editor. Now let's tell it what exactly are we extending. So this is a custom editor, type of shop item signal sender, and let's also say true for fallback. All right, so we have this. Now, in order to override the default editor, create inspector GUI, and we need to return our own build stuff. So I usually create an object, a visual element, that is called root, and I return that. So I'll say private visual element root get and set, right? And usually I return that. Right now it's empty. This is also a quick tutorial on UI elements and on custom editors, right? So let's save. And now when we'll come back here, you will see that, where is it? Signal sender. Shop item signal sender. Shop item signal sender. Yeah, I need to say root equals new visual element, right? So I'm not returning anything. All right. Let's see it here. So as you can see, the editor is now empty because I'm returning an empty visual element. It doesn't contain anything. Now, in order for this to work, I need to get the information that I want to show. And I'm going to use serialized properties for that and property fields. So I'm not going to customize a lot of stuff. So I need the following: private serialized property, and I'm going to call it property so I know what it is. And I'm going to say target stream ID get set. And then I'm going to say item, right? Again, forgetting a set. Now, I usually, when I create this inspector GUI, I do the following: find properties. Then I'll say create editor. And then I'll say compose. Right? Compose. Stop doing that. All right. So let's actually, create editor exists. It shouldn't exist. Oh, it exists. Let's say create. Right? So let's create our methods. So in find properties, very good. Copilot helped me here. So I have my property target stream ID, serialized object find property with the name. And here this is capitalized letter. And now I finish the find properties part. Now, in the create part, no, I'm not using a UXML because I don't need it. I'm going to say root visual element. And now I'll have two property fields. Yes. So var stream ID property field equals new property field and bind property to property target stream ID. And let's bind it. Set binding path. Okay, let's use that. Property stream ID. I want to say path. Property path. Let's do it like that. ID property field. Actually, I'm going to use, yeah, I think this is a bit too verbose. Design utils, new property field of this type. It's easier that way. And I'm going to do the same for the item. All right, so now I have my properties. In the final part, actually, I'm going to do everything here. I'm going to do the composition here. So I'll say root add child. So now I'm adding from top to bottom. Stream ID property field. Add child. Let's add it here. And that's pretty much it. We're done. It doesn't look great because I need to add a few more things for it to look nice. but it is already functional with everything you need to make this work, right? So is the zoom level okay for your eyes? Yeah, you should be good. Okay, so this is the script. This is everything you need to write for a minimum functional editor. You get the properties, you find them, then you create the editor and you return the root. So basically your object, and done. All right. So let's come back here. Let's wait for it to compile. And now you will see that there you go. I have access directly to this, and I have my item name. Let's also reset this so it adds our default values. So shop buy, and now you will see that everything works. Let's enter play mode, and the signal was sent. And don't we have our debugger here? Did I miss it? Yeah, there you go. And we have our debugger here. All right, so now I want to make this even better, because if my listener looks like that, I would like my signal sender to look something similar to this. And it's just a few extra lines of code, nothing too fancy, to be honest. We need a component header, private fluid component header, and this will be our component header. And let's initialize it right here. Now for the root, I usually have a padding, so I'm gonna say design utils editor root. Let me show you. So basically get editor root, and it's just the same new visual element with a bit of a padding, right? And now I need a component header, and I'm gonna say, I can say fluid component header, actually new fluid component header. And we can say set component name text, shop item signal, something like that. And now we need to inject it here. Add child component header. Let's add some space. Again, we have some default spacings, space block. Let's add a space block, and then let's add another space at the end of the design utils end of line block at the end of the component, just so it's a bit more easier to work with. I'm going to change the component header and get the default one. I'm just going to show you what we have right now. Let it compile. So now it already has a component header, and we have a few spaces added here. It's not yet like this one, but we're getting closer, right? So I'm going to say here, design utils, editor component header. So this is just a component header with a size set. It is a bit more nicer to use. And now I can add, because it uses chain methods, I can set the name, set name text, and this will be shop item, set type, and this will be my signal sender, all right? So just by adding these two, it will look a bit nicer. Then I'm also gonna add a, let's come here. There you go, shop, I said items, it should be item. Let's add an icon right in front of it, and then a manual button. Should you want to send your developers to an internal knowledge base or something like that. So I'm also going to show you that. So set icon. And now, if you want to know what icon you want to send, you can see all the icons. I really want to show you this in the editor UI. You can also add your own, but that's for a different tutorial. So let's say, how do you select your icon? Well, let's go tools, Doozy dashboard. I'm going to go to the editor UI part. And here on sprite sheets, I can see all the icons that are available. In this case, I want one from signals. So what do you use? Let's use this signal sender, right? So where is it? Editor sprite sheets dot signals dot icons dot signal sender. That's the path. And it's very easy to use, right? So let me show you. Set icon, editor sprite sheets dot signals dot icons dot signal sender. There you go. And now we have our icon. Let's come back here. I'm doing design. I think it's a bit off topic, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, so now it looks like that. Let's come back here. Let's set a color, set accent color, editor colors, signals, signal. So let's say a signal provider. Yeah, let's put it like that. Actually, I'm gonna set, yeah, provider, it's okay. And set add manual button, HTTPS, and this would be whatever your website is. I'm gonna say google.com. Let's save this. So yeah, I'm gonna open it right here. Come on, move it. And now I have my manual button. This already looks better. And if I click it, it will open it in a different window. There you go, google.com. All right. So now I need this to make it look like this. And that's a fluid field. I'm just going to add it on the fly. And I'm going to say add child fluid field dot get. And I'm just going to inject this right here. And you will see that it looks a bit better. In 1 second. And not items, but item. And here I'm going to say the same fluid field get and inject this. All right. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to work anymore on this. I just added a few lines of code just to show you that you can create nice editors. All right, so this is my signal listener. This is my signal sender. So yeah, it's not ideal. You also need a property drawer for this if you want it to look nice. But yeah, let's enter play mode. And now I'm going to show you, let's say my item 100 coins that cost $10 coins. And the ID is 101, for example. So let's send this. And there you go. I've just sent it and my listener received it. All right. Another way of receiving without this listener, we can do it very easily in code with a signal receiver. And this is the final part. Actually, no, I also want to show you how to send a message from a different thread, because you need to send it on the Unity main thread. And we have a way of doing that. Actually, we will have in the next update, but I want to show it right now. So for the signal sender, we used this stream ID, but you can also, for the signal receiver, actually, for the listener. So we have here a way to listen for the signal. We need a way to do it without having a component. So let's say this is a custom signal sender. Let's say a custom signal receiver. Let's create that. I just want to show you how a receiver works. So this is the custom signal custom signal receiver, right? So I would like to receive a signal from a let's say public string stream category, right? Stream category, stream name. Actually, I'm gonna say shop and buy, so I don't have to write them later. And I would like to have a receiver for this and just print whatever it's received, right? So I'll say private signal receiver this time, and this will be my receiver, right? Get set. In the awake function, I would like to initialize this and say receiver, new signal receiver. This is very bad. and set on signal callback on signal, right? And then I'm going to say on signal, I'm going to say debug.log signal to string, whatever that is, right? So now I need to connect this on enable signal stream get. Let's get the signal stream category stream name and say connect receiver. I'm going to connect this receiver. And after that, so we can do it like that. Very easy. And on disable, because we need to disconnect from that, receiver disconnect. There you go. So that's pretty much it. That's how you create your custom receiver. Now, I'm not doing anything here. I can also process the signal if I want to, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And let's test it out. Let's come back here. And for the listener, I'll say custom signal receiver. It also listens for shop and buy, right? So let's enter play mode, and you will see that it received a meta signal of type sandbox item. And how do I know that? Well, let's go here. There you go. It got received. Let's actually inject something there so you can see it's correct. Received signal, and there you go. Now I have this, just so you know which one is it. All right. And finally, in the next part, I want to show you how to send a signal from a different thread, because this is very important. There you go. Received signal, right? In the custom signal receiver. All right. Final part. Let's send a signal from a different thread. Why would you need that? Well, I recently had a case where someone was using Firebase and the login was on a different thread, and he tried to send a signal when the login was completed. And because it wasn't on the main Unity thread, there were issues. So in order to avoid that, we now have a system that allows you to send a signal on the Unity thread from another thread. And let me show you how that works. Let's create a thread example. Yeah. Okay. So let's create this class. All right. So I would like to send a signal from here, but from a different thread. So I'm going to simulate a different thread and show you. First, I'm going to show you the error part, and then I'm going to show you how to use it. It's just 2 lines of code, actually. All right, so let's say I want after 2 seconds, so we can wait a bit. I want to start a new thread, and after 2 seconds, I wanna send a signal. All right, so let's go awake. Actually, I want on start private enumerator. Let's make it start. Let's wait for, come on, don't show me that. Let's wait for 2 seconds. Yield, return new, wait for seconds. Let's wait for 2 seconds, real time. And now let's create our thread. So var thread equals new thread. All right. Let's see, are you seeing that? Let me move it right here. Okay. All right. And here in our thread, we define what we want to do. So we want to say signal.send thread example, thread, and let's say example, something like that. All right. So I want to send this signal, right? Thread start. All right. So just by doing this, you will see that we don't need the awake right now. We will need it in a second. Actually, we don't even need it. All right. So after 2 seconds, this class will start a new thread and it will send a signal. So this is outside of Unity. And what will happen, let me show you. So canvas, let's add it here, thread example, right? Let's put it on the background, it's clear. All right, so let's enter play mode and you will see the error. There you go. So we have a problem because it's not called on the main thread. So let me move this here so I can see what you're seeing. All right, so how can I fix this? Well, we have a sync context and I'm going to show you how to use it. So all you do outside of your thread, you make sure that sync context is initialized, sync context, and you initialize it. And then you say sync context, run on Unity thread. What would you like to run? Well, I would like to run whatever we have here. All right. And let's say debug log. Hello world. Hello world from the main thread. And here is debug log. Hello world from the thread. So basically you will see that we will get this hello world from the thread, and then you will see the signal being sent on the main thread with this particular example, right? So let's come back here. I'm also gonna hide these because we don't need them. So now let's go to our signals console. Let's enter play mode 1, 2, and the signal has been sent from the thread. And of course we have hello from the thread, hello from the main thread, right? So this is how we made it work. It's very easy to use. This is only for fringe cases where you need to send signals from different threads, right? But this is how you do it. You don't need a debug here. You don't need a debug here. And you can even go something like that. So yeah, that's it. So you just need to initialize the context, and then in your thread, whatever that may be, you need to initialize this once, by the way. You just say sync context run on Unity thread, and you send the signal or whatever you want to run on the Unity thread. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole spiel to it. All right, let's exit play mode. So that's it for the signals. I tried to go as fast as I humanly could possible. So let's enter play mode and you'll see again, it's gonna send the signal from the thread, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, thank you for watching and for staying this long. If you liked it, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video and that you make good use of the signal system, because it is very powerful and it can be used in so many use cases and it can save you a lot of headaches. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.